best of high end. Experience the beauty of audio and video.
Hi, with us is Jim Garrett. Jim, hello.
Hello.
We're in the Harman Luxury Group room with JBL and Mark Levinson. We were here yesterday with the press conference, so now we can talk a little more about the 6 new products that they introduced,
Correct.
3 new JBL speakers and 3 new Mark Levinson products.
Yes.
Jim, please take us through.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were thrilled to introduce these here at the Munich show.
Yeah.
Last night we did the big coming out party and the reveal for these products. On the Mark Levinson side, we'll start here. We'll talk about these first. These are the first 3 products from the new 600 series.
Yeah.
The 600 series is our 6th generation of products. We have a complete new industrial design. It's probably the first thing that everyone notices on them. This is what we call the tectonic design. So when you look at the products, you'll see on the top, each of these has what we call this core element in here. So if we look at this one, you'll see the element here on the top, the glass front panel with the red accent lighting.
Yeah.
So they're a little more dramatic looking than the predecessors were, but very much instantly recognizable as a Mark Levinson product. So of the 3 amplifiers, or the 3 products, 2 are amplifiers.
Yeah.
This is the number 632, which is a dual monaural amplifier. So we start here with this one. This is priced at 30,000 US.
How much power does it have?
Well, we're not finished with all the measurements on them yet. These are early prototypes, but this will be around the 250 watts per channel, and then it will go to 500 watts per channel into a 4-ohm load. And that dual monaural then has this one as a relative to it. So this is the number 631. Let me turn on its lighting as well too. Number 631 is a monaural amplifier.
Yeah.
This is replacing the number 536 that was in the range. And we've gone back to this 4-standing tower configuration.
Yeah.
So it's a very imposing looking amplifier, more in line with its performance. And this was the last configuration that we had like this was like our number 53 reference amp or the number 33H that a lot of Mark Levinson fans would be familiar with.
Yeah.
So this one and the dual monaural amplifier are benefiting from some of the sonic improvements that were done to the ML50, which was our 50th anniversary amplifier. So we've got those in here. So dual monaural, mono configuration here. And then our third component is the number 626.
That's a preamp.
This is the preamplifier. Yep. It's also asleep, so we'll wake it up. Number 626 is replacing the number 526 and number 523 that we had in the line. As a preamplifier, this has everything that you need in it. So it has our line stage in it, balanced inputs. It also has our 3rd generation precision link DAC. So we've got a high-res DAC built in now with USB-C connectivity on it.
Yep.
We have our pure phono stage. So you have moving magnet, moving coil phono stage built in. And then our Class A main drive headphone capability, which we've conveniently hidden on the front. So behind the number plate here, swing that door open. That's where the headphone socket is. So
That's cute.
I didn't want to look at an empty headphone socket on the front of it when you're not using it. So we buried it behind the door there. You can see again, the new tectonic industrial design language. We've updated the knobs, a little shape of them in here, a little Easter egg on the shape. We'll let people figure out what that is. But you can feel again, a very nice weighted knob in here. And then our relays, they click as you select the inputs on here as well. So this also has a new remote control, complete new design for the remote in here, matches the rest of the tectonic design in it. This one is going to be $25,000. The monoblock, $40,000 each for those, and then the dual monaural at $30,000.
Question, does it also support streaming?
No, this one is strictly functioning as a preamplifier. With the Precision Link 3 DAC, you can connect anything in it. In our case, of course, we own Rune, so Rune Titan, the Nucleus Titan could be that as a source player in here, or connect a computer or any other outboard streaming player that you wanted, you could use into the digital inputs. Or frankly, if you've got a high-end streaming player, you want to put it through one of the balanced inputs, you could do that as well.
Of course. Is this just for aesthetic reasons, or does it have a function?
Nope, does not have a function. Everyone's asked if it's like the volume control or something like that. But this started off originally when we looked at the interior of the products. You know, most of these have these very large toroidal power supplies in them. People love to see it when the top's off. When we did the anniversary amplifier, the ML50, the entire top panel was glass, so you could see inside it. And we had the red lighting on the interior of the unit. In this case, we thought this was a cool visual element that we started off with it on the power amps, and then we just really
Yeah.
are rolling it out to every model in the 600 series. We'll have this on the top. So it's something that'll be instantly recognizable that these are Mark Levinson products. The light up ring around the front that's tied in with the accent lighting on the front. Eventually, I can tell you in some future products, there will be one of these that will have a use for this. So, but right now
First
it's
thing I was
strictly
thinking
visual.
was CD when I
Ah,
saw that.
perhaps, right? Perhaps, right? So, yeah, but it's a cool visual, and it's part
It
of
is.
the industrial design language we have, tectonic, really inspired by volcanoes. So we've said this is really, it's the core of the unit, right? But it's also, it could be the caldera of a volcano up here on the top of the
Jim, when taking a look at the presentation visuals, you think it's kind of it makes me think of brute force.
Yeah.
How would you describe the sound profile of the new line, 600 line?
Well, it very much falls in line with what we've historically done for Mark Levinson. So all of the technologies that we do, we use what we call pure path circuit design,
Yep.
both on the analog and on the digital stages. So it's really nothing extraneous in the circuit, but it's also fully discrete. Everything in these products is fully discrete. There are no flying wires or anything in here. So when you look at these boards on the inside, they're beautiful looking products.
Yeah.
We use an R2R resistance ladder volume control that's in these. So super linear volume control. The performance of these is just spectacular. But for us, the thing about Mark Levinson is do no harm to the signal primarily. So we want this preamplifier to simply be that. Change the gain, allow you to change the source selections on it, and just feed that signal out, to your amplifiers. So they really don't have a sonic signature per se.
Okay.
They just get out of the way of the music.
Yesterday you were talking that the research and the development was a joint effort, that the Summit series and the R&D from Mark Levinson
Yes.
were located at the same place. So
Yes.
is it the presumption that they are tuned to each other? Or is that totally not the case?
Not necessarily. They both very much live up to the philosophies of their respective brands.
Yeah.
So again, Pure Path circuit designs and all of the main things that we've used in these products, they've been elevated, of course, for the 600 series. But I would say this is more an evolutionary change from the 500 series that came before it.
Yeah.
But the performance of these products is very much in line with what we have with the Summit series loudspeakers. All of our loudspeakers that we do within Harman, we're a very science-based organization. So, decades of research into listener preferences and what's the ideal sound performance of a loudspeaker.
Yeah.
And we've got different ways of achieving it depending on the different brands. But of course, JBL is our flagship loudspeaker brand. So it was designed, measured to the Harman target curve, which is a fantastic sounding loudspeaker. When you pair that up with these amplifiers from Mark Levinson, it's just really a pretty spectacular combination.
Yeah.
Which we've been demonstrating here at the show. So
Loudspeaker time.
yes, indeed. So let's talk about those.
Yeah.
We'll move over, talk about the JBL Summit series.
Yeah.
That was also announced at the same time as these Mark Levinson 600 series components. So
Yep.
if we swing around here behind you,
Okay.
so there are three models in the Summit series. The Summit series is our highest range of JBL loudspeakers. In 1985, Project Everest was the first one that we did. And at the time, we've always used code names for mountains, and Everest was the highest peak in the world. So it was used as the code name for the JBL loudspeaker. This was the best JBL loudspeaker we'd ever done. Then, of course, there's been successive iterations of those. We have the smaller model, the K2, that came about. And we decided when we were doing these again, this entire range, best JBL loudspeakers we'd ever made. I'm going to go back to the Himalayas and choose three other mountains that we would put in it.
Yeah.
So the Summit series is what they're collectively called then. This is the Summit AMA, which is the smallest of the new range. The technology used in all three of these loudspeakers is clean sheet designs that we did in a Northridge, California engineering center. So every aspect of this speaker was designed in our California facility, from the mechanical design, the industrial design, all the transducers, everything about the product done there. We're
Tell us
using
a little bit more about key technologies.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
just
yes.
about to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the transducer technology, very unique to JBL and what we do. These are compression drivers that are patented technology that we do. Call it the D2 compression driver family, but What these have in them, in this case, the smallest model has a dual 1.5-inch compression driver. And it's basically two 1.5-inch compression drivers that fire face to face and out a common phase plug.
Yeah.
So you have two voice coils, two motor structures, two diaphragms, and you could see down in the throat of it in there, you could see the phase plug on the product as well too. And I'll light it up in there for you a little bit. So you can see behind the black screen, you can see the phase plug that's in the driver. So that's the exit.
Yeah.
The diaphragms themselves are annular rings that face into there. So there's a lot of patented technology, and this is a new generation of these drivers.
Okay.
This is the D2815 that we're using in here.
Yep.
It's mated to our high definition imaging geometry that we use for our horns. And this is the latest geometry. We are molding these out of sonoglass. It's a compression molded material, so it's a very, solid inert type of product.
Oh, yeah.
In the case of the Summit AMA, this compression driver and horn is mated to an 8-inch woofer. This was newly designed for this series of products.
Yep.
The cone technology we use throughout the range. You're ready. Hybrid carbon cellulose composite cone. HC4. Yes, HC4.
Yeah.
It's a sandwich cone that we use, so it's a very, very stiff cone, but also very, very lightweight. And we're using that here in this 8-inch woofer, and then we use it in the mid-range and woofers and larger models as well too. Summit AMA includes the matching floor stand, so that is part of this. So from here, if I take this same dual 1.5-inch compression driver, and we come around over here, this is the Summit. It's obviously now on a larger horn, and this 8-inch now becomes a mid-bass driver.
Yeah.
So dedicated 8-inch mid-bass as a three-way design, and then a 10-inch woofer at the bottom of the speaker.
This is another picture here.
Yeah, so an accordion surround that we use on here. The mid-bass doesn't move very much in here, so that part of the surround structure on it.
Yeah.
We didn't need a big 1/2-inch roll like we do on a woofer. The woofer, of course, tuned very, very low, plays very deep in here, so we've got a traditional half roll surround that we use on the product. It's that extended bass response and pretty extended high frequency response, the way these are configured. Now, if you take this high frequency section, scale it up to dual 3-inch, keep this same 8-inch mid bass, and scale the woofer to a 12-inch, you get the Summit Makalu, and that's the one that's here at the back of the room. So let's walk up and take a look at these real quick too. So this is the largest of the 3 new models. Again, dual 3.5 or dual 3s on the compression driver, 8-inch mid bass, and then a 12-inch woofer. This is also shown in the black finish, so the piano black comes with Summit Platinum silver metal accent. The speakers that we just looked at over here are ebony wood veneer finish that comes with the Summit Gold finish on them.
Okay. Yeah.
Pricing, real quick, I can tell you on these.
Yeah.
So in the range, the Summit Makalu is really kind of taken up the place of what the current K2 is. So in US dollars, these are 45,000 a pair,
Yep.
which sits almost on top of where the K2 is today. And then we're 30,000 a pair for Summit Pumori, and the Summit AMA is 20,000 a pair. And again, that includes the matching pedestal base for it as well. So these are fantastic products. When I have a listen here, or actually what we're doing at the show that we demonstrated last night during the announcement of it, we're showing the number 632, the Mark Levinson 600 series power amplifier, the number 626 preamplifier below it, and then we've been streaming content through current product, which is our audio player from the current range, and then we're streaming our digital content through Rune, using that as a server here. So fantastic sounding system.
An even fantastic tour you did with us, Jim.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and your information.
Yep.
And all the best.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Best of High End. Experience the beauty of audio and video.